About the foundational infrastructure working group meeting, today we are missing some people. We are together with Joseph here, and the agenda is to check the PRs, and we have additional two agenda points. Let's check on that later. Yeah, our dashboard. Remove C-Link. So you wanted to check on the template rendering performance.
That is true. I did want that. I did not do that. I think we can delay this another week and I can double check that.
So it's
Um,
waiting for, yeah, let's say,
unless Ramon did something. Maybe he's less forgetful than me.
I don't know what we're talking about. No.
The template rendering performance without C-Lang on the boss director.
Yeah, so I asked if it was Constantine who did this, but it was actually Cunny who was doing it.
Oh,
And I haven't got a hold of Cunny yet because he's probably not interested anymore.
that's not true. He will still review some PRs randomly, even if he's not assigned as a reviewer. I'll just make a PR. He's like, "Yeah, approve." I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Okay.
okay.
Kenny is always willing to help.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
Um, yeah, he might be able to point us at some stuff. Otherwise, I can just dig into some stuff. What's the, I guess, a good question of how much time we have on this is what are the rest of the, how are the rest of the noble blockers doing?
So there are still two blockers.
All right, we're not the only ones holding it up
The,
then.
yeah, so the CF deployment people reached out to me today, pointing on the blockers for the DNS issue is still open.
Misbehaving. That means it works as designed now.
Yeah. And the other one is the Java build pack scaling.
Yeah, okay, but that's not really noble related.
Why?
It's
The
nothing
same.
that we can fix in a stem cell.
No, it's not. You don't know. We If we know the root cause, then yeah, we will be sure. I think for the Bosch DNS, yes, you are correct. But for the this one, maybe there is something missing. I don't know. Still unclear what the issue here is.
I don't know. We don't do anything Java specific in the stem cell whatsoever, or any build pack, as far as
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, they typically bring all, well, they're supposed to bring all their dependencies, but I don't know. There was a period of time like 5 or 6 years ago where they were all like all heavily dependent upon the Ruby that just was on the stem cell.
yeah,
It was just like, whoa, this is like 2.5 here, people.
Yeah, okay, and that's why we removed all those. removed it.
Yeah,
yeah.
So people will see, oh, it fails now.
yeah, yeah. It's probably this is probably fixing the in the build pack itself and not something needed on the stem. Same is true of the box. Yes, it's probably a configuration problem, but
We can help.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw some more similar issues, SAP intern, with the latest version of the build pack, but we validated with Dimitar that the version which is working on Jammy, this one of the Java build pack doesn't work on Noble. So this seems to be something with Noble. But yeah, um, if you know some people from the build pack area, Joseph, and can ask
So
them to check.
failing to compile something is probably related to some GCC stuff. Um, I know
Uh,
we had from Bionic to Gemmy, or was it from Xenial to Bionic that we had some that we need to add some certain flags because the way how we used the GCC compiler was a bit outdated for some things. and they could either set a flag or actually fix how the compiler how they actually compiled the files. Well, I'm not sure if Java is using make or whatever, so I don't know if they're using CMake or whatever.
I can try to find somebody in the Java build pack team and have them raise this to their attention.
Yeah, will be great. Yeah.
Exit status S is pretty general.
But most probably the other one is more blocking this one because they cannot execute any validations.
Yeah, can't run the cats without Ruby probably. Yeah, and I can I'll ask Amelia about this later this morning. See if I think her team she's on from our side is working on Diego stuff and networking stuff.
But that's strange, right? Because it's an outgoing.
But there is no DNS server, to resolve the outgoing domain.
Yeah, so from within a Diego, you mean? Just there is
Yeah.
no DNS
within the application
Diego
container.
node.
Within the application container.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing Diego does some shenanigans where when they make that container, they're like, oh, you're the resolve comp. You should point to like the Bosch DNS IP address, and if that's still true, it's like not going to work.
Yeah, because we're basically using BPM and for many things, and that also just works fine for resolving things, right? So
yeah, but they do a lot more layering. I think Diego has specific stuff for setting up the container DNS.
Yeah, there is an entry in the resolve conf, I think, managed something. Diego is managing the application container resolve conf. Okay. We discussed it. So this is so we came from we came from the C-Link. Yeah, it's not the only one. Yeah, I think we still have a way to go until Noble is validated.
Yeah, I should have some time tomorrow to try to do some template rendering stuff. There was also another thing that I think Aram discovered. I don't know if that's been mentioned here, but if you're using GCC to build Ruby, and you set C flags environment variable, it totally removes a bunch of optimizations from the compiled Ruby. And we've been doing that forever, not setting important C flags, but because we override them, it removes like some optimization flag. I'll double check with Aram about that, but that might be a change. That would be just a change to the Ruby build pack. That might give us very large performance gains if going back to GCC.
I saw the discussion somewhere, but yeah, it's not here on the.
Yeah, I forget where that was. It was on an issue or a PR or something somewhere.
Yeah,
might
okay.
be in the Ruby build pack. I don't know. Yeah,
I think it was in our Bosch Foundation infrastructure repositories in one.
we're not the build pack, but the Ruby release.
Anyway, I think no, I don't know. I also can recall where it was. But yeah, it's a good point. And this is now the other one, the next one.
Yeah. So if I look at the old PR which Kani made for moving to the C-Line compiler, it says it was like twice as fast than on a Xenial based.
Yeah.
2022, so it's introduced in the Jammy.
Yeah, Jammy was definitely way slower, but that might have been because Jammy was so new and was missing some GCC optimizations at that point in time. So we're hoping it's better now. And we definitely saw that with the memory consumption. The memory consumption was also terrible in a GCC, and it's fine now. So fingers crossed. But yeah, we should do some double checking, redo Kenny's work.
Yeah. Maybe it's good to just double check from what is the actually deploy time if we what are the differences.
Yeah. All right. And
okay, yeah. And now we are with the other one. Sorry, jumping around. This one is stop using Ubuntu release name in file names. We can
I
merge
merged
this.
this. Yeah.
This is. So this
Guess
hasn't
not.
been merged last time. Ramon. And we can.
I thought it was merged.
I merged
No.
something like this. There was like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, we had a few of.
So last time we discussed this last meeting, and it was somehow not decided.
The problem is if we merge this, then we also need when we do the merge to from Jammy to Noble, we need to do some magic.
Clean up there too, yeah. Which I did. I guess I did some of that for something last week, and it was fine. Maybe I just never got to this one. Yeah. So we can merge this now, or I can merge this after the meeting and do the merge forward again. I was really surprised, actually, the merge forward, how well it worked, because last time it was moving all of the acceptance tests out of that, source, GitHub, whatever. And I was like, well, it's going to probably lose, or there's going to be conflicts, or it's going to lose the noble changes we made to the acceptance tests. And it didn't. They were just in the right spot with the changes already. So that was a pleasant surprise with merging. Good job, Git.
Okay.
I didn't actually believe it. I'm like, let me diff these 2 directories, and I cloned it twice. I'm like, all right, no, it's where it's supposed to be, and it is right.
AI magic inside. Okay, then I will leave it to you, Joseph, when you.
Yeah, I'll leave this open and get it merged and then merged forward.
And there is another one from you.
Azure. Yes. So September, Azure is dropping support for unmanaged disks. And I didn't know what that meant 2 weeks ago. And now I'm an expert. So unmanaged disks are only used if you're using availability sets, which are different from availability zones in Azure. Availability sets in Azure have a concept of fault domains. And if you're using unmanaged disks, you can have like more fault domains. You can have like 3, maybe even 4 or 5. But some regions in Azure only support like 2 fault domains. So even though your availability set says it's using 3 fault domains, when you switch to managed disks, it's like, oh, no, you can't convert this to an availability set with managed disks in it because this region only has 2 fault domains. And you can just update the availability set to only have 2 fault domains, but the CPI didn't have the code to do that. So now basically when it does this migration of like, okay, we're moving from unmanaged disks to managed disks in this availability set, it changes the number of fault domains to the maximum of the region or however many it had, whichever is the lesser of the 2, basically, which is going to be necessary for anybody still using unmanaged disks come September when they totally go away in Azure. Or I don't know actually what they're going to do. They're sending a lot of threatening emails, and everybody's a little bit worried about that, who's getting those emails. I don't know if they're just going to stop you from making new ones or actually just like delete all your disks at that point in time. I haven't looked too closely, but this will make it so people can migrate off.
Didn't we already do something related to this?
There is a bunch of code in the CPI. It was written by Microsoft when Microsoft owned the CPI to actually do the migration. It's just that like currently you're not allowed to do the migration unless the number of fault domains is 3 basically in the region, which there's a bunch of regions that don't. I don't typically use any of them, but they're there. I had to find one, deploy stuff in there to actually test this, but yeah.
Okay.
Do you need a review from? So on our side we have Azure experts who can check on this.
Probably not. Probably just the one review is fine. Yeah, Brian's been not pairing with me on this, but he's been sort of in charge of some of this from our side. And it's not a very complicated change, and the code only triggers when you're doing this migration, which should be one time ever. It does make a very painful API request in here. This get max fault domains for location, because Azure does not make this readily available in any sane place. So you basically have to get the list of SKUs for the region, which is like, it's like a multi-megabyte response with all of these SKUs in it. There's no way of filtering it down anymore. But that only happens once. It happens once per instance group during the migration, and it doesn't happen other than that. Only in this block of if it's managed disk and the availability set is not managed, then upgrade the availability set to be managed, and it has to get this max fault domains. So I ran it. You don't.
Okay.
I hope that we don't need to manage timeouts or whatever, because I know that with Azure there are some indeed like massive API requests. Like,
Oh, really? Yeah.
I think it was for networks, and I think they solved it now. But I know it was like for some if you had like multiple networks, it would just retrieve. There was just one call, retrieve everything, and then figure out what you want to do with it. It was
Yeah.
weird.
Their APIs, the number of filtering options in some of these requests, I'm like, really? That's it? It is surprising. There's another PR that's going to be coming soon, because we've got some people using user provided encryption key encrypted disks in Azure with unmanaged disks, and the CPI currently doesn't support that for managed disks. So I'm working on a PR right now to allow you to provide your own encryption key for the disk encryption, but also use managed disks, which is not something that the CPI currently supports. Shouldn't be that big of a PR though.
There was also still a thing that we need to do, and I don't know if we already merged, if I already created a PR for that. But I know in Azure that if we want to support EFI boot options, then we need to use the new generation of VM. There was like some new process generation or something. Oh. I think I made an issue of it, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Azure CPI?
Doesn't sound familiar to me, but
yeah, created an issue. There is no.
Okay, the next PR is about enable IPv6 in Bosch SysCTL. So we have one review. Most probably do you want another one on this?
Yeah, I guess they're basically from the same team, so. Well.
Yes, that's what I
want. Which one was this? This one was the.
This is in the Bosch agent.
Oh, right. Yeah, this was just like a default changing, right? I think this is probably fine to merge.
Yeah, it's not really. He's made also a test for it, so it's not really. It's only happened when IPv6, and basically they're the only thing that's going to use IPv6 at the moment. So there's basically the testing if this actually works.
Yeah, this seems fine to me. I can click the button. See.
I still want everything of this removed out of it, but yeah.
Okay.
I snuck in, got the review in before the merge.
I'm too slow. Okay. Now there is again use isolated and removal in Bosch utils.
So when I mentioned to the team that this was getting pulled out of the CLI. Aram's like, that's the only thing that uses it. Let's just rip it out. So this is that apparently.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So this is, yeah, adding the release property validation to the director. So if your release has a property schema.json, it will validate them. I wasted most of yesterday writing the test for this. The unit tests were written. I was like, I'll write an integration test. Those are not that much fun to run. And it turns out they will not run correctly at all if you're validating that the properties get validated. So I added properties to one of the, I added a new test job to the test releases used by integration. And then I put it in there and the test just wouldn't pass. And it turns out that's because it doesn't work, because this is dependent upon the Bosch CLI actually, when you run the integration test, it uses the Bosch CLI that's passed in, and that Bosch CLI didn't package up the JSON file. Because so like yeah, that was a good hour or so of, like, why doesn't this work? Oh, because there's no CLI that works with it yet. So there's a set, the next PR is for the CLI to actually do it. So we shouldn't merge this until after that, but I assume they'll both get done around the same time.
I knew that after accepting the RFC, you just will push the changes. This one you mean this one?
Yeah. So this one's basically if your job has a property schema.json, when building the release, put it in there too.
Okay. Yeah. That's simple. Yeah.
Okay.
We can just merge this.
There is also a review. Yeah. Okay.
Look how productive we are in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I find our meetings are really productive. Yeah. So we have here Bosch things PI release. I think we did similar changes to the other CPIs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the more proper way of doing things. Most of this matters not at all, I'm guessing, but certainly doesn't hurt.
I also don't think it's really OS agnostic, but okay.
It's more OS agnostic.
Yeah.
It's find me the bash binary and run it from wherever you can find it.
Yeah, but who says we have user bin env?
Yeah, that is a requirement now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine.
So we are fine with this. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with this. But it's basically trading something else for.
It's the better default.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's also better to have it in more spots because I never write the shebang from scratch. I always just copy it from somewhere else. So the more spots it's more correct, the more likely it is I will copy a correct one.
I've been using like the bin. I think everything you use like is bin bash. It's like it has been like this like for 20 years, maybe longer. Consider removing SCSI tools. It's already removed.
Is this already removed?
I'm pretty sure I made a whole thing of that. Like there was this one thing where we needed to clean up stuff, right? I think SCSI tools is removed.
Yeah, there was this.
Apparently not.
Well, that was Jammy and Noble.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, no, sorry, Bionic and Jammy. It looks like it got removed from Noble.
Yes, it is removed from Noble. I was pretty sure it was removed from Noble.
Well, I guess this is probably only searching the default branch, which is Jammy though.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Ramo, if you have some PR to link here and then close, or I was.
We're definitely not removing packages from Jammy, but
no, it's still in there. Scusi Tools is still in there. What the fuck?
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is required for something. It might only be required, like, I don't know. I want to say that maybe that's only.
I thought I removed it.
I was discussing. I was checking here the discussion, and Ruben mentioned something like,
Yeah.
"Is this
Yeah,
then the reason?"
Yeah, but it was not Scusi Tools. Scusi Tools was being used somewhere, and I think I remember I removed stuff from that. I'm pretty sure.
I think it will be great if you can check, yeah, Ramon. It's
Because it was indeed in the.
should we open for contribution or waiting for changes? So,
Yeah, open for contribution.
yeah, you're not sure, Joseph, whether it's required for
Yeah, I
issue.
mean, it feels like
It
I
could
think
be that I didn't remove because I remember doing something, but it could be that it's indeed related to VMware because that uses some indeed the CD-ROM and for injecting metadata. So
Yeah, that is what I was pointing to, the discussion with Ruben. He mentioned
yeah.
some, but eject, he's talking about eject.
I
can't
know a
find it
couple,
now.
at least one, excuse me, of the CPIs also uses, we found this when the disk by ID stuff, like it was like Azure and maybe vSphere, mount the disks using SCSI paths rather. I don't know if any of that uses the SCSI tools or not, but yeah, it would not shock me if this is used somewhere, but
Okay, then we will leave this for now. I saw something Peter, I
ooh,
think, from
Matthew Coker.
Matthew did some work on high availability for Bosch and just documented it here.
Yeah, some fire. Yeah, yeah. I know this is a half goal. This is possibly a goal of ours is to make it HA. Um, but there's some little fiddly bits that would need to be done. But yeah, as he says at the top of changes I made, most things just worked, which is nice. It's nice when that happens.
Yeah. So when I was reading through, so we made our Bosch directives fast recoverable. So externalizing the state and Bobster and using DNS.
Didn't the SAP try to work on this like 2 years ago and before that?
Yeah, we
Pivotal,
worked.
and before that.
That's why this stuff is just working because we fixed some issues. So externalizing the state using domain names and so on. For now, we are fine with the state to be able to recover fast the directory in a different availability zone.
Yeah, the way we deploy, we don't have a good way of fast recovering. So we would actually want to deploy multiple that are all active at the same time, which is what Matthew's doing here. There's some, fiddly bits like the workers don't work because they step on each other's toes because it's based upon you run two directors and they're both running workers. Like it's like I'm worker one. It's like I also have a worker one, and they like, oh, there's a job running. It's like let me cancel that. I'm worker one. But like little bits like that aren't that hard to solve. You just namespace them in a more deterministic way. But yeah. It should be doable. I don't know if this is going to get prioritized in our site or not, but maybe there may be PRs to make this possible.
So then I don't know what discussion
How many
maybe
times
pending.
the last 8 years have we had a need for 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 this big of a most of the times when we are going into disaster recovery mode, there is a lot of things we should worry about, and Bosch is not one of them.
Yes, and this is not really a disaster recovery desire. This is a we have a somebody doing Bosch stuff who wants to basically take down entire AZs at a time. And that works great for all the AZs except where the Bosch director is, and then nothing, and then they're in a failure mode. So it's not a failure mode so much as a maintenance mode sort of thing. But they want to still have stuff work when taking down any of the AZs. We're like, maybe don't do that. And they're like, no, we want that. They're like, all right, well, maybe.
People have strange requests nowadays.
They do. They do.
I don't know why this is. We don't have an option to close this. It's popping up now in the dashboard, but the
That's fun.
repository is archived already. You cannot.
Can you change the thing on the right? Yeah.
I can change.
Done. It's done.
Done. Okay. Yeah.
I guess it'll still be open, but at least it won't be on the board.
Yes. Okay. Disappeared. Okay, we are done with the dashboard. There are some was reverted. Oh yeah, I saw this one. Yeah.
Yeah, there was someone asking questions in the Slack channel about it, and I thought the response of Joseph was like, could it make more sense? I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they were maybe like asking to more. But yeah, if they already got, they can put it just in the heartbeat. But yeah, I don't see.
Yeah, there it looks like they want 2 bits of data. One's already in the heartbeat, so the other one, if they really want that, they got to put that one in there too. But yeah, the idea of like going to the directory, you get this data, which then floods the VMs with a give me the data. Like
Yeah.
that's the whole reason Bosch Monitor is built the way it is to not do that. So we missed that in the review process of this PR, unfortunately. Luckily, the test broke and we didn't just ship it.
Yeah.
I was laughing over the Bosch release notes. It was mentioning that this feature has been added, and another feature is removing the feature.
Oh,
Sorry.
we got an patch release. Oh yeah, 16 hours ago.
So here.
Whoopsie.
We can just remove that.
Yeah.
Now we can increase our release notes.
Look how much we're doing and
Yeah.
undoing.
Okay, yeah, and so this I think didn't work. This is the same most probably.
Yeah, the cloud logging change didn't work, and then
yeah.
on their issue, if you click through to the other issue, they're like, oh yeah, that's because the version you're on doesn't allow you to disable the cloud logging. It's weird. Oh, that one, yeah. Well, somewhere it's linked.
Okay, I know there was also an issue.
It was probably linked in the original.
Yeah, but I guess there's a question of do we want to revert the thing disabling cloud logging?
How can we get the latest?
We got to wait for Ubuntu to bump the package.
Do we know any time frame on that, or do we want to add like?
No.
Do we want to add temporarily a PPA for the
I mean, what we could do is just pin back to the older version of the agent. If we're concerned about this, rather than pulling in the new one through a PPA.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think anybody's really seen this as a real problem. This is only a problem in the bats because they were rebooting VMs, which is not a normal operation, rebooting a VM.
Yeah.
It possibly increases the shutdown time of the VM, but not the full 10 minutes. It's like adds a minute or two. And that's only in cases, well, I believe that's only in cases where the VM does not have an external IP address, which I don't know how often that's what the distribution of deployments do, ephemeral IP, external IPs or not. But yeah, mostly I just wanted to know, like, do we want to revert this change? Or like cloud logging off sane default, like, because I don't know who would be doing this.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah. If it does like deep, yeah, it was already reverted, right or not? Yeah, we already reverted this.
No, this is still in there right now.
But it's still in there. Then I would just remove this as well, and I would think maybe then keep an issue open, and then we just basically put it on an older version. But that's
Well, put it on an older version or just wait for them to ship new ones. It seems like they ship new ones about every 3 months.
okay. Yeah.
I think we can probably just wait for another one. Yeah, okay. I'll make a PR reverting the disabling the log, revert the config line that disables cloud logging.
Mhm.
We don't use it. I don't know of anybody that uses it, but like, I don't know, less
Yeah, but
code the
our
better.
batch testing is currently failing, right?
No, I fixed that by I just changed the cloud config that the bats uses to give them ephemeral IP addresses,
Oh, okay.
and then the problem goes away.
Mhm.
This is a bit
So-
more expensive, but
Is it? I don't think it is. They're
no?
not static IPs. They're just ephemeral IPs. I think you get those for free unless you ask.
Oh, you get those for free. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll make a PR to revert that change, and then we can just wait for a new version of this, and then
Yeah.
if this becomes a problem in the interim, we can pin back the agent release to a previous one.
I also think about the cost because we are basically still under cost for like what we thought we would what we thought we would have a monthly budget. we
Good news
are
on
way under budget.
good news on the cost front. So, although I guess this is AWS, I was poking in the AWS account and found 3 VMs that have been running for more than a year. Um, oh, that's right. One of the test runs failed because it couldn't make a VPC. I'm like, oh, there's 3 leftover VPCs with nothing running in them. But then I found 3 VMs in the default VPC in AWS. I'm like, what are these? They're like no tags, no information of what they are, running in the default VPC. So I just stopped them. If anybody notices anything going missing, there's 3 stopped VMs there. I'll wait another week or 2 and then delete them.
It's only used for the AWS Lite Stem Cell Builder and the AWS that has some specific things for the test. Is that the AWS Lite repo itself does something? I think.
Yeah.
And that I think is in the publisher. When is the last time? Yeah, it run in November 8th for the last time. So yeah.
Doesn't change much.
No, it doesn't change at all.
Okay. So I documented our discussion here. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just revert it back.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm kind of in favor of just leaving things off, but at the same time, like probably just leaving them on default. Leave them to the default is probably better.
Yeah. Anyway, the current one doesn't work.
Because
we don't know
otherwise
which
otherwise
fix
in
will
5
be
years
faster.
we are wondering again why we set this flag and do we need to keep it there?
Right, right.
Is there anything else you want to discuss?
I want to raise one bit of unfortunateness, which is that my employment at Broadcom will be ending in April 11th. So I will probably be stepping away from a lot of Bosch stuff at that point.
Long as well.
Yes. Yeah. There's possibly a large exodus as there is return to office stuff going on. I'm going to see about backfilling a position on the working group here with somebody else, but they're going to be stretched pretty thin. So, but we'll see. We'll see what the world looks like over the next couple of months.
But
Well,
how are they going? How's the foundation going to manage this? Because basically, then there's a complete brain drain of Bosch. It's like there is like.
Yes, it is, and yeah, and I don't think it's going to be only Bosch related. I think other teams are also going to be losing people. I don't know what the full impact of it is, but yeah.
Yeah, this is basically killing off the. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
It's not good, and I would not say that good decisions have been made, but they are what they are, and hopefully, there's plans on our team to backfill positions over time, try to shore it up with other people that we have, but there's not a lot of reserves floating around, and that's just going to drain from other teams anyway. But yeah, it'll be another brain drain dipping period, and hopefully it recovers, but
I
it'll
don't
take
know
some
if
time.
we can recover from all the guys who were there basically since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
have left, is going to leave or has left the project. Like Ruben is also not really a part anymore of the Bosch team, so
Yeah.
Connie is gone. Long is going. Okay, yeah. Interesting. But yeah, maybe for a different meeting.
Yeah. Unfortunate. Enjoying the work with you so much. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Keep in the Slack channel.
Yeah. Never leave that.
Okay. Then we are done for today.
Okay. Then yeah. See you guys next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take
Have a good
care.
one.
See you. Bye
See ya.
bye.